everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alicia Elizabeth and I am so excited that you are here today and that you decided to visit this channel. If you are a new viewer, hello, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, aka a subscriber, hey boo, hey. So happy to have both of you here with me. As always, grab a snack, get comfortable. I think we have something really interesting to talk about today. And I'm going to jump right into it. But before I do, if you have not been following along, we have been unpacking The Gifts of Imperfection by Dr. Brene Brown. You are more than welcome to start at this video, or you can start at the video that was posted previously, which is found below, or you can start at the beginning of the series, which is on a playlist on my channel. Wherever you choose to start is completely up to you. The information is independent of one another. However, it does build onto each other, so you get to pick. Either way, so happy to have you here. We are talking about cultivating meaningful work today. The subtitle for this chapter is Letting Go of Self-Doubt and Supposed to. Can I just say, before we get started, that this is probably one of my favorites because, one, I am in this space currently in my life, and two, I feel like prior to reading Brene's work, I kind of felt like I was the only person who had this mindset on things. And I'm not saying that to boast of myself, but I feel like sometimes my mindset is so counterculture and I just don't see enough people talking in the way of what I'm thinking about, if that makes sense. And so it's really encouraging to see in a text this agenda being promoted, which you will hear about as we continue the video. Before we dive into the text, I want to encourage you to do something. Of course, completely voluntary. I want you to pause the video and I want you to make a list of your gifts and talents. The things that you do well, the things that you enjoy doing, the things that you may be, being paid to do, or you might not be currently being paid to do, but things that you do well. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and do that. What do I do well? I want you to think thoroughly about it. You could be the best toenail clipper in the world, the best apartment painter, the best plate setter, the best interior designer, the best singer, the best hairstylist, the best makeup artist. I don't know, but whatever you do well, even the best public speaker, I want you to make a list of those things, because having that list will also allow you to work with this section and give you things to think about. Okay, so I'm gonna freeze myself for 2 seconds, pause me there. And then unpause me when you're done, okay? Follow what I'm telling you to do. Don't lead you astray. All right, so you're back. Hopefully you follow my instructions. If you didn't, you're gonna pay for it. Let's just dive right into what is going on. So Brene has been interviewing people. This is a consistent thing that we see in every section. She wants to see what connections, what things do people who are living wholehearted have in common when it comes to whatever the topic is. And so today we're talking about meaningful work, and she has found the following connections which have emerged in this section, okay? Number one, we all have gifts and talents. Some of you did not write anything because you believe I'm not gifted, I'm not talented. Yes, you are. Take some time to think about it. Think about the things you do well. Think about the things people ask you to do, whether you like doing them or not. Clearly, someone thinks that you do that well. Think about the things you're currently being paid to do. I even tell my students, if you're the best gamer, that is worth noting. I know that seems ridiculous to someone who is super critical of themselves and they need blue collar things on their resume. But nowadays, the world has shown us that if you do anything well, it is a talent, it is a gift. Let it be known, right? So we all have gifts and talents. When we cultivate those gifts and share them with the world, we create a sense of meaning and purpose in our lives. That's number one. Number two, squandering our gifts brings distress to our lives. As it turns out, it's not merely just, it's just too bad if we don't use the gifts that we've been given. In actuality, we pay for it with our emotional and physical well-being. When we don't use our talents to cultivate meaningful work, we struggle. We feel disconnected and weighed down by feelings of emptiness, frustration, resentment, shame, disappointment, fear, and even grief. This is so true. This is so true. Because when something is brewing inside of you, when you have a gift in the pit of your stomach and it is not being used, baby, it follows you to the ends of the earth. It makes you uncomfortable. You resent the job that you're currently at. This is why so many of us quit jobs so frequently, because we're not doing what we feel our passion is to do. I'm not encouraging you to quit your job, but I want to speak to the fact that this is true. When we don't use our gifts, it's not just oh, that's just too bad. It bothers us. We build frustration, resentment, shame, disappointment, fear, and even grief because there's something inside of you needing to be birthed that's not being birthed. Number 3, most of us who are searching for spiritual connection spend too much time looking up at the sky and wondering why God lives so far away. God lives within us. Sharing our gifts and talents with the world is the most powerful source of connection with God. I agree with that as well. When you utilize your gifts, and if you do mention Christ and you integrate it, it is powerful. It is a direct connection. I believe that he will fuel your gifts. And I'm not saying that. Let me back up. It is powerful. And I believe that when you include him in it, he will fuel it to go on and be more than what you could imagine. The way you utilize it, the people it touched, the impacts it had, the impact that it has. Absolutely, utilizing your gifts, tapping into your gifts is an opportunity to connect with your creator, okay? Number 4, using our gifts and talents to create meaningful work takes a tremendous amount of commitment because in many cases, the meaningful work is not what pays the bills. So it takes a lot of commitment because you are utilizing and creating meaningful work for something that you're not always guaranteed to be paid for. Many of you have allowed your gifts and talents to go dormant because you don't receive a paycheck for them. I want to encourage you right now before you continue this video that you need to get back to just enjoying it because of all that it does for you. Yes, sometimes our gifts can require us to spend money and we don't see any return tangibly, but you do feel so fulfilled taking that time to do whatever it is that you do well. Whether you paint, sing, color, draw, rapper, cook, chef, whatever, hairstylist, doing it, the investment is returned in a way that you can't put your hands on all the time. Some of us have managed to find a way to be paid for it, but not all of us have, and it should not be our fueling point to do just because we get paid. That is, I think, how you create a really unhealthy relationship with your gifts. Okay? No one can define what's meaningful for us. This is number 5. No one can define what is meaningful for us. Culture doesn't get to dictate if it works outside the home, raising children, lawyering, teaching, painting. Like our gifts and talents, meaning is unique to each of us. So do not let culture or society tell you what's meaningful. I know this is easier said than done, but you need to find the value in what it is that you're doing, whether no one supports you, regardless of if no one rallies around you, because you know how it fuels you. And so because it's your gift, it's your talent, and it's something that you get a return on your investment internally on, it is meaningful at that point, okay? So then she goes into talking about self-doubt and the supposed to, right? And I love this section too because I think it attacks the mind, and that's what I like to focus on because I think it's up here that we fight, it's up here that we win. And so once we can get this area under control, the things that come from it, amazing. Okay? She says the gauntlet of gremlins can get in the way of cultivating meaningful work. They start by taunting us about our gifts and talents. And it's a lot of reading, but it's because I want you to get this, and then we're going to talk. She says, maybe this is what the gauntlets start to say to us about, or the gremlins start to say to us about our gifts and talents. The first one is, maybe everyone has special gifts, except for you. Maybe that's why you haven't found them yet. To the person who hasn't found their gift yet, everyone has a gift. Sometimes we haven't put a word or name to it. And then sometimes we have completely undervalued that it is a gift. Sometimes we want our gifts to look like the next person's gifts, completely diminishing our gifts. Let me just say this because it just came to mind. One of my favorite entrepreneurs hires this woman. And it's a woman. It's a team of 2. So these women. And you know what they come in and do? They come in and organize her house. And I remember when I first seen it, I was like, are you serious? And then I saw some of their prices and I'm like, these women come into your home and they organize your seasoning cabinet, your pots and pans. But then I had to think about it. sometimes people can see clutter and they can see a more effective way of organizing it. And so it is a gift. If you live in a tiny home, if you're someone who likes to collect things, they can take your space and maximize the items you have in your house. And the only reason why this has become a paid lane is because someone found it valuable enough to charge people. And so I want to encourage you that it's not just about getting the next dollar, but it is about you finding it valuable enough to do, to promote, to share with the world, and to offer. If you don't think your gifts of being a great administrative assistant, whether it's you're great at, emailing, you name it, someone needs it. If you don't think it's important, no one else will. And if it's not my gift, I'm not going to think of it. But if it's your gift and you can promote it to me, or you could just share it with the world, I'm going to find value in it because you're so confident about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I seen this post on Instagram, I'm like, wait a minute, let me look at this. Let me see how she storing seasonings in the most creative way possible, right? So then you have this shared information and then people try to mimic it. But she still has an audience because it's people like me who will see it, say, wow, that's amazing. And I'm never going to go to IKEA and get the items and the shelves and the different stickers. Whatever she had going on, I'm not going to do it. So guess what? I'm still going to buy into her because that's phenomenal. I hope that makes sense. Then it says, yes, you do that well, but that's not really a gift. These are the gremlins that attack our gifts and talents. Remember that. Yes, you do that well, but that's not really a gift. It's not big enough or important enough to be a real talent. I literally just responded to that. Whatever you do well, you can make it big. You can declare that it is special. No one needs to do that. Then she says, self-doubt undermines the process of finding our gifts and sharing them with the world. Moreover, if developing and sharing our gifts is how we honor spirit and connect with God, self-doubt is letting our fear undermine our faith. Whew. I was like, Brene, now we've been rocking for weeks. I thought we had an understanding that your foot did not belong on my neck. I'm going to read that again for you. She says, moreover, if developing and sharing our gift is how we honor spirit and connect with God, self-doubt is letting our fear undermine our faith. Hear me when I say this. It is time for you to remove the power and authority that you've given self-doubt because it is undermining your faith. That is blowing my mind right now. Like, as I'm recording this video, I feel completely convicted. Like, how many things did I not do in the name of fear that I allowed to be bigger than my faith? And like, as a believer, and I know I have believers watching this channel, and even if you're not a believer, this applies to you, but as a believer, to think that, oh, y'all, I'm not even going to go on my tangent. I'm just going to go ahead and move on because y'all see I'm getting all worked up. But to think that our foundation of everything we do can be undermined by our agreement with self-doubt. Woo-woo. All right. She then goes on to say, the gremlins, excuse me, get lots of mileage out of supposed to the battle cry of fitting in, perfectionism, people-pleasing, and proving ourselves. She gives examples like, you're supposed to care about making money, not making meaning. You're supposed to grow up and be fill in the blank. Everyone's counting on it. You're supposed to hate your work. That's the definition of work. If you're brave, you're supposed to quit your job and follow your bliss. Don't worry about money. You're supposed to choose work you love or work that supports the people you love. So these are battles that people struggle with in their mind around the term supposed to. And so I just want to say, even when I see this list, like, I don't believe any of these things, right? But I do believe that the generation and the times that we live in, people feel like you're not invested in your career enough if you don't quit your jobs. You're supposed to have, this security blanket. Like, there is a lot of supposed to arguments depending on what circles you go in. But I do believe that the only supposed to that you should carry moving forward is that you are supposed to make meaningful work, regardless of if you get a dollar for it, regardless of if the world sees it, because it could be a private work first and then people see it. You know what I mean? But you're supposed to use your gifts and talents. Let's stick with that. You're supposed to use your gifts and talents because they are fulfilling for you. So she says, to overcome self-doubt and supposed to, we have to start owning the message. What makes us afraid and what is on our supposed to list? Who says it and why? So it goes back to who has authority in our mental space. When do we give it to them? Why do we believe it? Okay. She says she knows that making this list looks like it gives the fear power, but really it gives us an opportunity to say, I get it. I see that I'm afraid of this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. So then lastly, my favorite part, sorry, it looks like I'm like sinking. I don't know. My favorite part is she says, in addition to the gremlins, another thing that gets in the way of meaningful work is the struggle to define who we are and what we do in an honest way. And so in a nutshell, she calls this having slash careers. She officially calls it the slash effect. Okay. And basically what happens is, instead of feeling like you have to commit yourself to one thing that you do well, just insert those slashes, right? Be able to say, I am a teacher, I am a poet, I am a public speaker, I am a minister, I am an encourager, I am a writer, I am a doodler, I am a fashionista, I am an interior designer, I am a part-time cook, I am a nanny, I am whatever it is, whatever your slashes are. Be okay with having these different hats, because the example that she gives is that she was at this conference for real estate and this woman was like, let me see if I can pull it real quick. She said, I recently met a woman at a social media conference who is an accountant slash jeweler. She said, I was excited to meet her because I had brought a beautiful pair of earrings from hers online. When I asked her how long she had been a jeweler, she blushed and said, I wish I was a jeweler. I am a CPA. I'm not a real jeweler. And Brene's like, but sis, these are yours. You're a jeweler. Like, and the lady's like, it doesn't bring me much money. So because of the lack of income or the status that she needs to be at to be recognized by the world, she is diminishing the fact that she is capable of making jewelry. She does sell jewelry. People like her jewelry. And even if no one sold anything, she's making pieces that can be worn as jewelry. And so the slash effect, which plays into you making meaningful work, which plays into you canceling self-doubt, which plays into you also overcoming the supposed to battle, is you being able to own all the slashes that come with who you are. This is not about comparing slashes. This is about you tapping into that list that I had you write at the beginning of this video and be able to say, I am all these things. I am a mommy, a wife, a writer, a poet, a singer, a rapper, a designer, an interior, I'm a cleaner. Like, whatever you do, give yourself that room. Now, I know social media will tell you you can't give all these things 100%, and maybe we don't. But when you do need to wind down, when you do go on vacations, when you are taking care of your mental health, what are you doing? Are you writing at that time? Are you creating poetry in those moments? Are you creating your best, meals? Are you painting? Why do those gifts and talents have to be diminished or non-valid because you're not getting paid or they're not something you do every day? And so living wholeheartedly is making meaningful work throughout your life. If you are a, cook, baby, maybe the only people who get to buy into your craft is your family. But so what? You better set that plate as if Obama was eating at your table, because that is a gift. If you are a singer, then maybe only your church hears it, but it's still a form of worship, and they still deserve you to show up in full effect with that gift. If you are a painter and the only houses that you paint is the people who ask. It doesn't matter. You do it well. It doesn't have to be this grand slam the world knows for it to be valid and taken seriously and a part of your list of slashes. And so I really love this chapter because it really demands that we pull on the creative pieces in nature within us and we validate ourselves by saying, you know what, not another day will I neglect or ignore or overlook the fact that I can do this, that I am gifted in this arena, and that it really feels good when I complete it. You know what I mean? So, as always, I hope that you enjoyed that video. I hope that you are encouraged. I hope that you tap into the things you do well that maybe no one knows about and maybe they have gone dormant. You know, go ahead and blow those gifts and talents off and start doing them. Start doing them. And like, last thing, no, actually, no. I was about to shout someone out, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to message them. As always, please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't. I am looking forward to the next video with you all. And as always, I've also enjoyed the dialogue, the convo, and just doing this with you. So let me know what things you're tapping into, things that you do that no one knows about that you do enjoy, or the things that have become dormant that you're going to blow off the dust and start doing again. As always, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.